Hello students. In the last video, we learned that neuron is structural and functional unit of brain. Do you know students, there are 86 billion neurons in human brain. Today, let us start with a question that how do these neurons talk to one another? First, let us consider a case where you are playing passing the parcels. What do you do there? Yes, the parcel is passed from one person to other sitting next, and this way it reaches the last person. Similar to this, neurons also play passing the parcel between brain and other organs. But how? Through axons and dendrons. They pass parcels which are nothing but electrical signals to one another. The signals are passed and received at special junctions called the synapse. It is a region where electrical impulses are transmitted and received. The synapse is derived from Greek word. In Greek, sy means union or association. Thus, synapse is a region of connection between two neurons or between a neuron and a muscle or gland. So, first let us understand synapse. The synapse consists of three elements. First, the presynaptic membrane. Second, the postsynaptic membrane, and third is the space between two neurons. It is called synaptic cleft. Chemical messengers called neurotransmitters are released here. As their name suggests, students, these chemicals are transmitted from one neuron to other. There are many neurotransmitters in our body, one of which is acetylcholine. On one side of synaptic cleft is axon of first neuron, and the membrane of this synaptic knob, that is axon ending, is called presynaptic membrane. Knob is filled with vesicles with neurotransmitters like acetylcholine, while on the other side is the dendron of second neuron. The membrane of this dendron is called as postsynaptic membrane. It receives the chemicals released by axon as it has special receptors present on it. There is continuous exchange of signals between neurons at this synapse. Let us see how these synapses help in passing on signals. One of the characteristic features of all living organisms is responding to stimuli. Stimulus refers to the changes in the environmental condition that are detected by receptors located in our sense organs such as eyes, the nose, the skin, etc. These sense organs have sensory neurons. As soon as the dendrites of these neurons send some stimuli, a series of chemical changes are generated in them. These changes convert external stimuli to electrical signals called as action potentials. Thus, information from the receptors is transmitted as electrical impulse or action potentials and is received by the cell body and then to axon to its terminal end. On reaching the axonal end or synaptic knob, it causes the release of chemical, that is neurotransmitter, which crosses synaptic cleft and get bind to its specific receptor on the postsynaptic membrane. From here, it enters the dendrite of next neuron and starts a similar action potential in the next neuron. Similar transfer of signals keeps happening from first sensory neuron to the last neuron. Now students, you will be able to understand how neurons play passing the parcel and transmit signals to communicate. In this way, the electrical signal reaches the brain or spinal cord from the receptor organ. Now brain or spinal cord processes all the signals and send proper message to muscle via motor neurons in order to generate proper response. The response from brain or spinal cord is passed on to the effector organs such as muscle or gland in exactly same manner from one neuron to other neuron. Now, brain sends signal to motor neuron. Recall students, motor neurons are those which take signals from brain and give them to muscles. Motor neurons are in connection with muscles or glands. These connection regions are called as neuromuscular junction. They are also one kind of synapse. Synaptic transmission at the neuromuscular junction begins when an action potential reaches the presynaptic terminal of a motor neuron, which releases neurotransmitter acetylcholine from vesicles into synaptic cleft. It crosses the synaptic cleft and binds to receptors on the cell membrane of the muscle cells. The binding of acetylcholine to the receptor activates the muscle contraction, and thus the response, that is, muscle movement, is generated. In case of glands, it activates proper production of hormones. The flow of electrical impulses or signals from axon of one neuron to dendrite of another neuron through a synapse is called synaptic transmission. You know, students, these signals are passed at very high speed of 223 miles per hour, faster than the fastest land mammal, the cheetah, which speed up to 64 miles per hour. Let us see what we have learned till now. We saw that it is the neuron that literally controls everything we do by receiving and passing various stimuli. We saw that each neuron ends with axonal terminal called as synaptic bulb, which has vesicles of neurotransmitters. Synapse is the place where transmission of messages happens from one neuron to other. When any stimuli is received by dendrons, they pass electrical signal to cell body, then to axon. When signals reaches synaptic bulb, it releases acetylcholine from its vesicles. It is received by dendron of another neuron by receptors and so on. Thus, this whole chain starts from sensory neuron of sense organs to motor neurons of muscles or glands via many interneurons between them. In the next video, we will see about human brain in detail.